Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the BUCS Championship. It's Bath versus Cardiff Met, with the clock ticking down to kickoff at 7 p.m. at the STV. Do it! So, after 18 rounds, 2 knockouts, umpteen snow abandonments, it all boils down to this. One final hurdle on the road to Twickenham to book a final berth at Twickenham, where they are going to meet the opposition from the other semi-final, which did take place earlier today. We'll inform you of that in a second, but first I'm lucky to introduce Dougie Crawford, who's with us today. He's the chair of Bath University Rugby Club, and he's going to be our mole on the inside, giving us a bit of insight. Dougie, good to have you.
Yeah, no, it's great to be here. Really excited for the game tonight. Promised to be a big one, so hopefully back on out on top.
Amen, brother. Well, as I said, the other semi-final kicked off at 4:30 today, and the result is in. The Green Machine has been derailed by old foes Hartbury. They put in a fabulous performance, putting Exeter to the sword, and with that putting paid to their Twickenham ambitions. 41-15, comprehensive, and they charge onto the final looking ominous, having only lost 1 game in 2018. But tonight our focus is here. It's the brothers versus the Archers in a crunch clash. Now, Dougie, I was on the Twitter earlier this week and watched a video from Will Britton. He gave a slightly wooden performance. Will, you could do with a bit of work on your delivery, but he said, we didn't start the season as we'd liked, but we kept believing in ourselves and we're delivering at the right time. It really is all about the knockouts for you boys.
Yeah, Brits has never been one for words, really. He does sort of speaks about his actions, but yeah, I think ever since we came back after Christmas, we've sort of been building towards this final at Twickenham, which has always been the aim. So just week by week, we've sort of built towards that. And like Aaron said, Aaron James, director of rugby, has mentioned, it's almost like we've had a long pre-season and we're just hitting full swing now. So yeah, excited to see how we go tonight.
Yeah, you were starting to show promise at the start of 2018, but tries were very hard to come by unless you were Jacko Davies. But it's all turned around. What's been the missing ingredient?
Yeah, Jacko won't shut up about all the tries he's been scoring. So I think the backs have really come into their own now. Messer, his backs coach, has really sort of brought in some dynamic attack plays, and with the attack team providing the different set plays that were going off, we've started to score some really good set piece tries as well. So really exciting backline. We've got Hughesy coming in at 13 and things like that, so mixing up a bit, but yeah, it's looking good.
Yeah, you're throwing it around in the backline an awful lot, and we've got to talk about Will Partington because he is in electric form at the moment.
Yeah, no, he's getting his praise, but it's probably deservedly as well. No, it is deservedly. Last week as well, he had a great game up in Northumbria. He had such a good game, even Northumbria Twitter were tweeting about him. So no, he's been a great addition to the backline this year, and he's really come on to his own. Yeah, so excited to see how he goes tonight.
I know you boys love playing here at the STV, but we're in term holidays at the moment, so it's a little bit of a depleted audience, but it's still special to be playing at home.
Yeah, it's always special to play at home. The guys love playing at STV. It's a great place to play rugby, and the pitch is actually holding up pretty well for weather. But yeah, unfortunately, there'll be more Cardiff Met fans travelling here tonight than our own support, but there'll be a few of us, and we'll make some noise at least. So
I was going to say, the Cardiff Met fans, we can hear them. They're pretty vociferous in their chants, and also they brought an air horn. How are you guys going to shut them up from the get-go?
Well, they came here last time with the exact same support, and it was actually the start of the game when we really played well against Cardiff Met last time at home. It was just we got pipped at the end, so hopefully we can have that same start but can finish the job tonight.
They're a pretty complete team, Cardiff Met. We saw them last week in their 10-5 victory against Loughborough. You've got intimate knowledge of one of their players, Tom Morgan, who's scored well over 100 points this season. Talk to me about Tom Morgan.
Yeah, no, Tom's a tidy operator. Yeah, knew him from out in Sydney when we were on our gap years out there. He was playing club rugby out there. Really, obviously does kicks the goals, kicks really well. Great in defence and can carry the ball. So it'll be interesting to see how that match up with Craig Duncan at 12 goes tonight. Craig's been a stalwart for the club over his years, starting off in the force and playing all the way up to a 1, so hopefully Craig can keep Tom under control tonight. Yeah,
that's an amazing story, that, because he's displaced Charlie Dunbar, who, you know, at the start of the season is one of your gun players, but now he's stolen a march all the way from the 4th team. It's brilliant.
Yeah. No, well, yeah, Dunbar's played a huge role in the season, so hopefully when he comes off the bench tonight, it'll make a real impact. He offers a lot in terms of defence and also his leadership on the pitch, so hopefully he'll do a job when he gets a chance. All
right then, so let's get down to brass tacks. How do you beat the Archers?
Well, hopefully we'll find out come 7 o'clock. I think you've just got to be really clinical. Whenever you get a chance, you've got to take it. we've shown that in the previous games last week. When we get a chance, we can score some really good tries. So I think it's about taking those points. It's cup rugby, it's knockout rugby, so we've got to be clinical, take the points, and discipline as well. Discipline's been an issue in the past for us, but since Christmas and a few strong words from Aaron and Lils and the other coaches, discipline's really improved. So hopefully we can be squeaky clean tonight.
All right, great bit of insight there from Dougie, and also on a personal note, it's great to have someone who isn't taller than me on the programme for once. But enough jibber jabber from us. We caught up with the coaches before the game, and this is what they had to say. All right, Danny, welcome. Good to see you in the semi-finals. How's the week preparations been?
Yeah, it's been really good. We had a national championship game against Rhydyfelin on the weekend, which didn't go as planned, but these boys have had a really good week's training and we're really excited for tonight.
Did many of those boys feature at the weekend, or have they all been rested for this clash?
We had a couple of boys on the bench who started on Saturday, but only 2 or 3, so the majority of the squad have had a really good full week's training.
Good stuff. So last week we saw you against Loughborough. It was a victory, but you laboured to it a little bit. Is that a worry, not being able to put the teams away?
Absolutely, and tonight Bath with a great win against Northumbria last week. If we don't pull in a better performance tonight, I know we'll certainly be in for a tussle.
Okay, with the game in mind, you've made a couple of changes. Max Llewellyn comes into the wing and you've swapped the hookers. What are the thinking behind that?
I think Jack would reflect and say he probably didn't have his best game last week, and Jack Samuel's been on his coattails for the season, so it's important to give him an opportunity. And from Max's point of view, he's a under-20 Welsh international. Would be silly to leave him out. It's been a tough call in terms of where to play him, but we didn't want to break up the centre combination of Tom and Luke.
Good stuff. And you've taken down Bath twice this season, so is it just more of the same and the same tactics?
Well, I hope so, and certainly with Twickenham next week, we want that win, but we understand tonight it was 2 very close games. We're going to have to be at our best to compete tonight.
How are the nerves in the sheds before the game?
Mixed. I thought the coaches were a bit more nervous last week. Hopefully we're a bit more relaxed this week, but we're okay.
Good stuff. Looking forward to seeing you out there, mate.
Thank you.
Right, Aaron, good to see you as always, mate. With the way the season's gone, especially in the early part of the year, did you envisage finding yourselves in a semi-final with a shot at Twickenham?
We made an aim to try and get to the semi-finals at the start, and got a bit tense, but we believed, and we've had to work hard to get there, but it hasn't been an easy journey, as our results will tell you.
Well, you were showing the green shoots of promise against Northumbria and Exeter, but you've dramatically turned it around, scoring points for free. What's the difference?
We just spent a lot of time working hard, really, and focusing on our attack. We've been frustrated with the way we've been playing in the earlier games when we do lose. As I get probably saying, it was as much our fault as anything, and we've worked hard to sort of fixing it. And it's a momentum game. We've hit a bit of form and had a bit of confidence, and it helps.
What do you think about tonight's opposition? They're a tough prospect.
They're always tough. We haven't beaten them this season, so home or away. So and it's semi-final time, and the extra motivation for everybody goes through the roof.
You scored 41 points last week. Are we going to see you throwing the ball around, enjoying yourselves?
We need to win, but it's always good to on a home ground to score with some more tries, but win.
And for the 3rd years and the 4th years, it's going to be the last opportunity to play at home in a Bath jersey. It's special.
Yeah, of course it's special, and there's a lot of guys there today that have been with us for 3 and 4 years that have worked really, really hard, and let's hope we can get the reward not only for them but for the rest of Team Bath staff.
Let's hope so. All the best, Aaron.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate. A great bit of spirit between these two sets of coaches, but don't be fooled. No love will be lost when their players take to the field in this crunch semi-final clash between Bath and Cardiff Met, which is coming imminently after this break. All right, Danny, welcome. Good to see you in the semi-finals. How's the week preparations been?
Yeah, it's been really good. We had a national championship game against Rhydyfelin on the weekend, which didn't go as planned.
It's Wednesday night, and that can mean only one thing, ladies and gentlemen. It's BUCS Wednesday, and it's a Championship Wednesday with a shot at Twickenham glory in the semi-final between Bath and Cardiff Met. We got a cracking game in prospect, kicking off at 7 p.m. It's Wednesday night, and that can mean only one thing. It's BUCS Wednesday, and it is a biggie. We're here at the STV for Bath versus Cardiff Met. All roads lead to Twickenham, with the winner of this semi-final getting a shot at BUCS glory. Kickoff is imminent. As you can hear in the background, the pitter-patter of hungry young men looking to get into a final where they will meet Hartbury. So, without further ado, it leaves me to throw you up to Dave Rogers and Ian Kench, who are going to call this game for you.
Twickenham beckons and Hartbury lie in wait. Cardiff Met, the hosts, the first onto the pitch, facing a resurgent Bath who have won 2 in a row for the first time in the competition. 101 points scored over 2 matches, and this is how they line up. It's an unchanged backline from that quarter-final victory. In the forwards we have Jake Buckingham, Tom Doughty and Austin Hay in the front row. Will Britton is the captain, partnered by Darren Jones, who comes in for this one. Jack Davis, Chris Barry and James Catlin in the back row. Luca Petrozzi at 9, Will Flynn outside him at 10. On the left wing, Levi Davis, Craig Duncan and Will Hughes in the centres. Harry Close on the right wing, and Will Partington is at fullback. Their head coach, Aaron James. As for Cardiff, they've made a change in the front row. Jack Fielding coming in at hooker, accompanied by Sam Cochrane and Harry Seaward at 1 and 3. Alex Dombrunt and Eduardo Balacco are in the engine room. Harvey Scott, David Rabazniak and Aled Evans make up the back row. Ben Williams at 9, Harry Johnston at 10, Corey Wayne at 11, Tom Morgan and Luke Northmore, the familiar 12 and 13. Jordan Roberts at 14, and George Simpson, the man of the match last week, starts at fullback. Their head coach, who we heard from earlier, is Danny Milton. Plenty of firepower on the bench for both sides. Hadfield, Cordwell, Packham, Davis, Snook, Burbage and Dunbar. And for Cardiff Met on the bench, it's Fielding, Kennett, Harry Dobbs, Jack Arthur, Aled Ward, Matt Marsh and Corey Wayne.
There behind you.
Neil Chivers taking control of this one. Bath get us underway, attacking the try line. Away to your right, Cardiff Met receiving the kickoff. Joining me for this one, Ian Kench. He's been a BUCS winner in the past. You've been on this stage plenty of times, and this is a big occasion for both of these sides.
Yeah, I mean, it's a culmination of a year's worth of being together for some of these boys. It'll be potentially their last game of playing for the university, and it's a great stage for them.
Levi Davis gets his first touch, manages to get the offload away to Will Flynn up over the halfway line. Bath struggled during the league season, just 4 wins all year, but they've come good after thumping Cardiff University in the last 16 and then going to put 40 points on Northumbria away. Northumbria, of course, could have won the league going into the final day. looking to take this form into a Cardiff Met side who only lost the league on bonus points. And Met have actually got hands on that ball and turned it over. Eduardo Balaco there, wearing number 5, scored the charge down try that put them ahead against Loughborough in the quarter-final. Italy age group there, he's had a formidable partnership with Alex Dombrandt in the second row. Will be key to anything in the tight for Cardiff Met today. Buckingham there for Bath, just slowing the ball down. Cardiff Met keep it tight through Aled Evans, number 8, the captain. Suggestion of a forward pass there that the referee spots. Straight away though, the opening 2 minutes and plenty of physicality out there.
Two very different approaches that break down as well. You can see Bath in attack, trusting 2 men to do the clear out, and as a result it seems that Cardiff are targeting the breakdown and reaping the reward. So I think that's something that Bath will have to sort out as the game goes on.
We have a first look at the set piece. Considering the amount of rain we've had, quite impressed by the state of the pitch.
Yeah, it's much better than some of the games that we've seen in the last week or so. The ground staff here have obviously done a fantastic job, and it's actually quite firm underfoot.
Well, last week Cardiff Met absolutely decimated the Loughborough scrum. It'll be important for Bath to get a firm footing early on. Jake Buckingham, Tom Doty and Austin Hay in the front row for them. Darren Jones has come in the second row, replaces Scott Russell, who drops out of the squad altogether. And then change back row, Davis, Barry and Catlin at 6, 7 and 8. And the first penalty goes Bath's way. Will Flynn doesn't back himself with the sticks from there. It's quite a swirling breeze, and he'd be kicking into it, going for goal instead. He's found a good touch. And Bath inside the Cardiff Met 22 for the first time in this semi-final. We had a good look at both backs in the warm-up, and Bath are absolutely huge.
Yeah, well, when Cardiff came out first, we thought they were pretty big, and then as Bath came out, they've absolutely surpassed them. And with Mark Lilly as forwards coach, they spend a great deal of time looking at the maul in the warm-up. So you can see their setup here is pretty good, nice and narrow at the front with a long maul, and this is looking pretty promising for Bath.
Will Britt, the captain, went up for the first line out, gathered it well. It's still creeping forward. Look at Petrozzi, the scrum half, trying to get his hands on it, but it's still going forward. It's 5 metres short now. Petrozzi lays it off. He finds, well, that's the opening try. Levi Davis, he's gone infield looking for work, and what a dream start for Bath. The penalty finds the 22. It's an inch perfect line out, 15 metres on the drive, and the simplest of inside passes, and Levi Davis goes over to open the scoring. Well, it's Davis who'll go down on the score sheet there, Ian Kench, but that was all about the work from the forward pack.
Yeah, you can see the Bath forward pack there working on an angle towards the posts, and what that means is that the back line and the 7 in particular have to commit to that maul, and actually that was a link. So as the 7 goes in to stop the maul, the breakdown and the gap between forwards and backs where he would normally be, that's where Levi exposes the space and scores his try.
Conversion into the wind to turn 5 into 7. The flags go up, and that is a dream start for the hosts. It's Bath 7, Cardiff Met 0. Let's take another look at this. Looked so simple in the end, and in fact, Levi Davis. Didn't even look like that ball was for him initially. But the defenders flew up. He took the opportunity. And what a start that is for Bath. Levi Davis scored against Cardiff University in the last 16 as well. So obviously loves playing against the Welsh side, but Cardiff Met have recovered that from the kickoff. There goes Dom Brandt. Expect to see a lot of him with ball in hand today. Excellent skill set, but that's a mistake. Cardiff Met overcommitting and pretty much kicking the ball back to Bath as the wind really picks up, swirling around here.
Hands down, gents.
Depending on which set of flags you look at. They're blowing in the one direction over on the far side of the pitch and on the other on the near side. Petrozzi at the base of the scrum. Davis gives chase, but George Simpson, the fullback, gets his first touch and gets rid of the first defender as well. He was man of the match in the quarter-final, so composed running from deep. Oh, quick hands from Cardiff Met, releasing the man at the right-hand side. Beautiful overhead offload. Doing well to slow the ball down just on that 10-metre line. They've managed to turn it over as well. Second turnover in quick succession for the hosts. I think they'll be pleased with the way they've settled into this game.
Yeah, defensively Bath look comfortable there, so adopting the choke tackle that Island like to use, and without the Cardiff boys being able to get their knees on the floor, they're forcing the turnover, and the referee allows that. It looks like good defensive set. Their width is good and they look comfortable.
Simpson waits underneath it again. He's got a little bit more time this time, but steps through Davis. Lovely footwork from the Met fullback. Harry Seawood. Don Brunt again. Throws the dummy, but he stood up. Williams waits, puts boot to ball. A good tactical game with the boot in the quarterfinals, but that's a mistake from him. Hangs up in the wind. Cardiff Met, arguably with the favourites tags going into this one. We're nearly 10 minutes in. They don't seem to have settled at all.
You can see from the way they attack there that they're quite narrow in attack, and they're relying on Bath to miss tackles, and at the minute the Bath defence is fronting up and dealing with the directness that Cardiff are bringing to the game.
Tom Doty is the hooker. I mean, it's a suspect haircut, but he scored 9 tries this season, so he can have it however he likes. Tackle in midfield, it was Will Hughes on the ball. Cardiff come up quickly. Will Flynn. Will Partington. Great footwork from the fullback, looks inside but pins his ears back and goes himself, and eventually gets bundled out in the 22. Good awareness from him as well. He was looking for the offload but didn't have the option. Cardiff back under pressure inside their own 22. Jack Samuel starting at hooker today for Cardiff Met, replacing Jack Fielding, who had an excellent game around the park, but his line-out left a lot to be desired. That's a better start from Samuel. Williams sets himself. Oh, it's an excellent take though. Harry Close, the man to bring it down. Flynn at second receiver.
And you can see the amount of heat that they're putting on the breakdown. Cardiff really forcing Bath to be effective at the breakdown. But if they get the quick ball, it's on to play.
Partington's been standing at first receiver for the last few plays as Austin Hay takes it, and he's proven a handful to bring down. Bath under 18, number 3. Back up and looking for the offload there as Tom Doty shunts back the net defence. Jack Davis takes them back up to the 22. Heflin at second. Even they look to put a bit of width on it this time. Another missed tackle. Partington swings by another one. Is it a confident start, ball in hand? And there's the chip over the top, looking for Davis. That one takes a bounce. And Bath back into the Met 22. Jack Samuel, just out of your shots. He's being walked to the touchline. Jack Fielding will be his replacement. Difficult to see what the problem is at the moment, but doesn't look 100%. Well, despite having a disappointing day with the Arrows in the quarter-final, he offers exceptional pace around the field of play. Real danger with ball in hand. There were a few times in the quarter where he threw a terrible one inside the 22, and that is the last thing you want when you're looking to clear your lines.
And his first role will be to throw into this line out, and with this wind it'll be a real test. So as a caller, let's hope he makes it nice and easy for him. And that'll be a real confidence boost for him, actually managing to hit the middle there, taking that ball in that wind.
Clearance kick from Ben Williams. 12.5 minutes gone of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. But a small but vocal group of supporters there. They're actually all Cardiff Met supporters. They came past us earlier and they pretty much brought the kitchen sink with them. They've got pots, pans and all sorts.
Seems they've had a good bus trip over from Cardiff this afternoon.
Over the bridge. Oh, that's taken at the front of the line out there by Jack Davis.
Just forward.
The referee brings them back. Another let-off for Cardiff Met. Bath just sharper in pretty much every department at the moment. Just the Levi Davis score and the conversion that separates the two sides.
You can see a little trick play there at the front line. That one obviously they've worked on the training field, and it was just a shame that it was a forward pass there that had to bring them back.
That's our second look at the scrum. The first ended in a Bath penalty. Ben Williams waits. 4 tries himself this season. I think the key at the moment is just for Cardiff Met to try and get some territory. But again, the scrum's broken up and the decision goes Cardiff Met's way this time.
A lot of pressure coming from the Cardiff tight head there, so good engage, staying square, and he's got his opposite man on the loose head of Bath in all sorts of problems, and just deserts there for fantastic work from the tight head.
George Simpson finds a good touch. Cardiff Met into the Bath 22. This has been a rarity in these opening exchanges. A very cultured boot. He takes on all the tactical kicking out of hand. But Tom Morgan, who takes the place kicks for them, 173 points in BUCS this season for him. Just the 5 against Loughborough in the quarters. They'd have been disappointed with his place kicking. Just a couple of very kickable penalties. Well, Hartbury there really putting Exeter to the sword, 41-15. They'll play the winner of this one. A disappointing end for the season for Exeter, who'd have fancied another go at the final as Don Brandt goes into the 22, gets the offload away. Cardiff Met really piling the pressure on here, just 5 minutes short with plenty of field to work with. Don Brandt back on the ball. Well tackled by Tom Doty though. All lining up on the left-hand side, short ball, and the try's been awarded. Tom Morgan. A big man on the crash ball, so difficult to stop, still had a bit of work to do. But Cardiff Met venture into the Bath 22 and escape with 5 points, much to the delight of that crowd. Bath 7, Cardiff Met 5.
Here you can see a really clever carry from Alex Don Brandt, I think it is, who actually, if you watch his line, he goes in. It's the previous carry that actually does the damage. So Don Brandt going in and then bouncing out, it means the line is shorter, and therefore there's space there for Tom Morgan to reap the rewards and crash over. And as I said earlier, it's going to be a real test for Bath, because that is going to be Cardiff Met's game going direct, and Bath are going to have to deal with that.
Morgan converts his own try, and it is game on. Bath 7, Cardiff Met 7. Yeah, Dom Brandt, look how many defenders he's drawn in there as well. It's the short ball that does the damage. Morgan converts his own try. Bath 7, Cardiff Met 7 as we approach 17 minutes of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. Tom Brandt bumps off the first defender, eventually tackled by Jake Buckingham. Plenty of distance on that box kick, swirling in the wind as well, and Partington eventually adjusts his feet, beats another defender before being driven back. And he punches the floor in frustration as well. Did the first part so well, and right in front of that Cardiff Met faithful. Well, I wouldn't like to suggest what they were saying to him, but I can't imagine it would have been too complimentary.
Again, I'm not sure that's the wisest option there. Cardiff Met off their box chase look actually quite tight there. It was on to play, and I think that's the way Bath have got to approach this today, really trying to get the ball and play wide and get at them.
Johnston sends Tom Brandt through. He goes flying over Levi Davis. Davis back up and on his feet though. Cardiff Met come again. Simpson through the gap into the 22, and he's going to score a fantastic try. Cardiff Met into the lead after a scintillating finish from George Simpson. Well, what a response here from Cardiff Met.
Again, it's Dom Brandt that does the damage with the big carry at the middle, bringing everyone in, enticing him to him, and then it's an obvious training play where they've hit up once and they're working on the rewind, and it's just no replacement for pace like that from George Simpson.
There's a bit of a mismatch in midfield. Jake Buckingham came rushing out of the line, flat-footed front rower, and George Simpson took full advantage. Cardiff Met 12, Bath 7.
To your lads, obviously the guys in goal, it's a late minute scoring try before they can't cycle on the field. It just potential escalation.
Tom Morgan, his second attempt from the tee. To take him up to 180 points for the season. Drives it through the sticks. And it's a maximum for Cardiff Met. Bath 7, Cardiff Met 14. Another look at the try. Yeah, mismatch in midfield, running through a prop and a second rower. Will Britton and Jake Buckingham. No match for the pace of George Simpson. And that is an excellent finish from him. Bath looked comfortable for 12 minutes, but since Cardiff Met got that first score, levels just seems to have dropped a touch as we approach the halfway point in this first half of the BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. Levi Davis just about recovers that one. Will Flynn. Craig Duncan. Close into the 22, but dragged out. Tap on the back from George Simpson as well. All of a sudden, Cardiff Met look pretty revved up for this one.
I think you're seeing here the effect of playing in a men's league in the Welsh Champ. It's their physicality, their physicality and breakdown is really paying dividends here, and they're showing just what it does if you play against men week in, week out, and they're bringing that to the university game.
There it comes.
That one's gone forward off the back of the line out as well. Cardiff Met currently sitting 8th in that WRU Championship. They lost to Rhyd Velin at the weekend, which has brought them level on points. Pretty safe in terms of relegation. They've made this championship a priority, but as you mentioned, Ian Kench, a great opportunity for them to pit themselves at a good standard of senior rugby. Plenty of good players in that Welsh Championship. Pontypool currently top of it. And it offers very different challenges.
It does indeed, and here you're seeing the rewards of it, because that is what they're going to be up against. Going up against 30, 40-year-old props week in, week out, and learning the trade. The experience and the exposure they get in that league just is paying dividends, and you can see the Type 5 here starting to take dominance, and that is pretty brutal watching there for the Bath Type 5.
Well, they're going to reset it as well. There's a knock-on at the base of the scrum, coming under all kinds of pressure. You've got to feel sorry for number 8 in that situation. James Catlin tried to clean up the mess, but it actually went forward off Luca Petrozzi.
If you were clever here, they're going to scrum long, keep it in there, and scrum for a penalty, and then they've got a free ball to play with.
22 minutes gone. Still dry here in Bath. The wind definitely picking up as the temperature plummets. Bath took the lead early on through a Levi Davis try. That was converted, but since then, Met have got 14 points unanswered. Recent history certainly gone Cardiff Met's way, with 2 victories over Bath in the league this season. But over the last 14 matches over 7 years, just 5 points separate these two teams. Bath with 7 wins, Cardiff Met with 6. And 1 draw sandwiched in there as well. This time Bath getting the push on. Well, what a turnaround. From utter dominance 30 seconds ago, Bath managed to force the penalty. A very kickable penalty too. Will Flynn is going to go for touch here. Mad game. Will Flynn finds touch. Tom Doty needs to find his man. 6 metres out. In a great position to respond to those unanswered points from Cardiff Met. First job done. One off the training ground, and Chris Barry crashes to within 5 metres of the line. Jack Davis adds his weight. And we were all expecting the maul then, but one off the training ground for Bath. Nearly worked out.
Quite a clever ploy there, with Cardiff Met deciding not to compete, and the reason for doing that, they just want to have a run up and make sure they're able to stop that maul. So whilst Cardiff Met were preparing for that maul, you can see that they're taking it away from that, and they're looking for the peel around the back. And it's actually a fantastic latch here that takes them over the line for the 5 metre scrum.
Let's take a look, because Bath thought they'd scored. And Harry Johnston calling men out there. Well, impossible to tell. Referee got himself in a great position, Neil Chivers.
It's great work there from Harvey Scott that actually binds onto him and takes him over the line, and really fantastic work from the blind side there.
Petrozzi with the put in now. James Catlin protects. The scrum half goes on his own. He's brought down 3 metres short. Plenty of width to the left-hand side and the right for Bath, but they're going to keep it tight. James Catlin waits. Dives for the posts. Oh, but it's been turned over by Cardiff Met. They're handling it inside their own 22. Some suicide offloads. Oh, and they've coughed it up as well. That was the replacement hooker, Jack Fielding. He stayed down, and I don't know whether that's through frustration or injury. Well, Cardiff Met managed to get hands on the ball here. I think it was Bath desperately lunging for the line. It's just been spilt forward.
Great work there from the Cardiff Met number 8, Aled Evans, actually getting on the ball there and being an effective +1 to that tackle and turning the ball over. So.
And Harvey Scott was in there again. He's one of those bolters that wasn't in consideration at the beginning of the season. And now he's arguably been their player of the year, one of the first names on the team sheet. From number 6. That's a frustrating one for him. Attacking position wasted there from the outside half. He's got 59 points himself this season. He certainly won't want to see that one back. The wind absolutely howling now. Not easy playing conditions. It's like the movie Twister. I'm expecting a cow to go blowing by in a minute.
Will Flynn's going to be crucial for them today in how they want to play, so let's hope that he manages to forget that and move on, because he's going to be the one pulling the strings to make sure that they can get this expansive game where Cardiff Met potentially look a little bit vulnerable in the wider channels.
Flynn has scored tries in both playoff matches so far, and again it's the Met scrum coming under scrutiny. Bath win the penalty. After a few penalties given away at scrum time, the referee goes over to have a conversation. You've been on the end of plenty of those as captains of teams. You know the chat's coming. So you kind of just have to stand there and say, yes sir, no sir, have a word.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those things as captain, you're hoping that you've got enough senior players around you actually, so you would hope that they're having those conversations before the referee speaks to the captain to say, look, this is what happened, because in the second row or in the back row you have no idea what really is occurring in the front row, so hopefully they're having those conversations in the front row unit and solving those issues.
Tom Doty finds his man. Bath once again with a great position inside the Cardiff Met 22. Here comes the drive. Doty has the ball at the back. Scored plenty of tries from that position so far this season. Rabazniak makes the tackle. Sustained period of pressure here for Bath. They're over. Jack Davis is the man who rose with it, and it's been coming, and finally the Cardiff Met wall crumbles. It's Bath 12 at Cardiff Met 14.
Again, it's that fringe between the maul and the backline link, so it's fantastic work from the forwards that suck in the forwards, and actually you can see some of the backs getting involved there. So we've got Max Llewellyn getting involved in the maul, which creates that little seam where the forwards can now target, and they're into the backs with another strong latch there by Alex Dombrandt taking him over.
Jack Davis, it's 11 tries for him this season, and he tends to score in twos. 4 braces this season. Will Partington looks to level things as we approach half an hour. What a semi-final this is turning into. Partington successful with his one and only attempt at goal so far. Sweeps the right boot at it. Up go the flags. And we are all square once again. Half an hour in this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. It is Bath 14, Cardiff Met 14. And after a period of 5 minutes of flat rugby that cost them 2 tries, that's an excellent response from Bath.
Yeah, and it would do wonders for their confidence the way they've come back into this game and weathered the storm that was coming their way from the UIC. Momentum's a huge thing in rugby, especially in BUCS Super Rugby, and for them to get the momentum swinging back their way, you can see what it does to ball carries like that, and it just swings the momentum their way, which hopefully will keep them playing like this.
It was Austin Hay crunching through. James Catlin, the latest to take the contact. 2 converted tries apiece. Half an hour gone here in the Bath wind. Feels a lot more like autumn than summer here. Petrozzi Puts boot to ball again for Levi Davis to chase. He's going to get there. Oh, that's a wonderful take on the right-hand side, though. Jordan Roberts, such a spring on him. And some fantastic takes against Loughborough in the quarter-final. Here's Simpson again, putting Donbrandt through the gap. Donbrandt into the 22. They're backing off him. He steps off the left foot, and that is a fantastic individual score. From the big second row, he's one of the stars at this level of rugby. And Alex Donbrandt shows what he's all about. Cardiff Met 19, Bath 14.
It's not just the size of the man, he's actually a really skillful ball player, and the lines he runs are intelligent lines. That is a world-class support line, and then you can see as soon as he's through, he's looking for support, which puts the defender under pressure, and then ball back in two hands, and the step and a world-class finish from such a big man.
Well, that is 15 tries this season for Alex Donbrandt. And the conversion successful as well. Morgan goes 3 from 3. Talk about responses. Cardiff Met have done exactly that. He's got around the hooker, Tom Doty, but just keep your eye on the defenders. They don't know whether to go to him, to back off him. Turns Will Partington inside out, and by then it's too late for Petrozzi. Well, we've had 2 smoking hot finishes from Cardiff Met. Well, 7 and a bit minutes remaining on our clock. However, it does keep ticking over, so there will be a couple of minutes left at the end. It doesn't stop when the referee's watch stops. So if your team are ahead when it goes red at 80, don't get too excited, because there's a little while to go. That one's got forward off a Cardiff Met hand on the right-hand side. They have made a couple of mistakes in their own half and invited the pressure from Bath of Cardiff Met.
A clear tactic there, though, from Cardiff Met and their exits is to obviously box on this right side and really test Levi Davis on that ring and put a lot of pressure on that kick chase, and it's paying dividends for them at the minute.
Well, it'd be interesting to have a discussion as to whether or not they target what they see to be the weaker winger defensively, because they switched Jordan Roberts from the right wing to the left wing against Loughborough last week, knowing how good he is chasing that box kick.
It's a clear tactic that they've used today, and so they would have in their heads, well, if Jordan is our best chaser, then let's put him on this right wing that we want to target and we want to kick to contest. And then, like I say, so far it's bore lots of fruit for them.
Aled Evans down, getting some medical treatment at the moment. Oh, that looks a nasty one. Well, he stayed down after that. Doesn't look in too much immediate discomfort. But that's not ideal for Cardiff Met. Their captain down. Aled Evans, he's had a strong opening half an hour as well.
You can see there one of those awkward twisting injuries where it could be knee, it could be ankle, but it certainly looks uncomfortable, and it looked like one of those ones that he knew was happening. And it was quite a slow rotation that looks like it's got the inside of his knee.
And it was Chris Barry with the chase for Bath. As you expect, open sides, they just don't go away, do they, once they've got hold of you? We're approaching 35 minutes here. This one's really ebbed and flowed as well. It's one of those ones where Cardiff Met went 14-7 to the good. You felt as though they could really put the hammer down, but Bath responded incredibly well.
Yeah, I think for Bath they've got to think about what works for them, and at the minute that is moving the ball and playing. For Cardiff Met, they're playing a much more direct and confrontational style of rugby that obviously they play in the Welsh Championship. So 2 different styles of rugby, both pretty effective, and it'll be interesting to see which one comes out on top.
Well, I think that'll be the end of Aled Evans' evening. He's looking quite some discomfort now. Not just the captain of this side, he's the club captain as well. He's come through the system too. He was part of that dominant Coleg Camoyev side. And now we're seeing him be escorted off. He really does look in quite some discomfort. So hopefully not too serious, and he'll be back fighting fit in no time at all. We'll restart with a scrum in between the 10 metre and the 22 into the final few minutes of the first half of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti for a place at Twickenham next week. The final, the 11th of April, Hartbury Lion Weight. After a quite simply sublime performance against Exeter, having finished 5th in the league, they've toppled the league winners. And this time Cardiff win the penalty at the scrum.
You can see both packs here making a real effort on targeting the hooker, so pre the ball coming in, they're really getting in the best shape they can, so that when that hooker lifts his foot and the power basically comes on, and you can see that both sides are really optimising that, so they need to think about potentially scrumming it a bit quicker and getting the ball in and getting it out from an attacking perspective on either side.
We saw the flag being blown there, the wind really picking up. It's blowing from right to left, literally towards the far side of the pitch.
This will be a real test for Jack Fielding, and they've got to think about where they can throw to in this lineup.
Cardiff Met back into the Bath half. Another try before half-time would put them in a great standing towards booking that place at Twickenham. Aled Ward's come on at number 8. Wales under-18s captain, played for Wales 20s as well, as Tom Morgan goes back inside towards the sticks, 15 metres short of the line. Ben Williams finds Aled Ward, the substitute. He's got a couple of tries this season as Ward, versatile back rower.
After the initial good defence from Bath in the first 10 minutes, you can see here that confrontational one-pass rugby, making 5 metres at a time. It's only a question of time if they keep the ball until they get over the try line again here.
Harvey Scott, the latest to have a go, wins the collision again, 4 metres short. 2 players on the right-hand side of the breakdown for Cardiff Met, but Aled Ward, what a work rate since coming on. Offering himself at first receiver pretty much each and every time. He's back there again, but this time Cardiff Met to go to the right-hand side. Step inside from Northmoor. He goes over. Well, that's a real blow for Bath.
Clever there from Cardiff Met, actually, with the confrontational style. They tightened up, trying to get 2-man tackles, and actually the space then was out wide, and it was recognised and executed effectively.
Short ball to Northmoor, little dummy and dived in. Again, you've got backs running up against forwards. It was Austin Hay, the man making the tackle. And I don't know whether that's been by design or purely coincidental, but outside backs running up against big tight 5 forwards. It's really paid dividends for Cardiff Met. That's their 4th score as we approach half-time. That's a real hammer blow for Bath. Not the easiest of conversions, this, pretty much straight into the wind. Tom Morgan 3 from 3 from the tee thus far. From 3 becomes 4 from 4, and just before half-time it's Bath 14, Cardiff Met 28. Northmoor scored the try there. He was the most unlucky man, certainly in Cardiff last week. He could have scored an absolute handful against Loughborough, but just didn't quite drop his way as the wind catches hold of that one. Oh, and now they're falling off tackles. The physicality really catching up with Bath. Jordan Roberts takes them up to in between the halfway line and their own 10 metre. Cardiff Met back in possession. Harry Johnston, the man tackled. Chris Barry trying to be a nuisance at the breakdown for Bath. Our clock now red. Cardiff Met back into the Bath half. Simpson. Williams throws the dummy. Max Llewellyn is the man to add support.
You can see this confrontational start from Cardiff Met just reaping the rewards now. They're starting to fall off tackles with the Bath team, and it's big ball carries like that that actually are going to create the hole in the defence the next phase potentially here.
Here's Jordan Roberts then, one man to beat, doesn't quite get around him. But if Cardiff Met score now, surely it is curtains for Bath. 7 metres short with the width of the pitch to play with. For the corner, and over. Well, the referee not on their side this time. And that's a real let-off for Bath. And it stays Bath 14, Cardiff Met 28.
At this point, if you're Will Britton, you want to get your troops around you and making sure that you're talking about key messages to get to half-time with no more scores, because they need to sort out what's happening here, and falling off tackles like that is just going to cost them another try.
Well, Dombrand nearly over for his second there. Brute force to bump off Darren Jones. The referee consulting with his assistant. Bath winning the penalty. Bath relying on that maul again. It's going towards the touchline. But more patience in the forward pack from them. A lovely bit of footwork by Petrozzi to take them up to the 22. Looks for the offload, gets it away to Craig Duncan. Well, amazing how quickly this game can turn around. If Bath could get a score before half-time, it's game on. Will Hughes into the 22, spinning through tackles, but he's isolated. There are Cardiff Met hands on that.
Again, the Cardiff tactic of 2 men at the breakdown going for the ball, really putting the heat on at the breakdown is killing the Bath game, and they've got to deal with that in the second half.
It's Harvey Scott who forced the penalty, and the referee has seen enough for this half. In this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti at half-time, it is Bath 14, Cardiff Met 28. We'll be back with Joe Burns and, of course, the second half after the break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. It's been a pulsating first 40 minutes here at the STV that sees Bath trail 14 points to 28 to Cardiff Met, and some scintillating play in that first half. But Dougie, chiefly from your opposition.
Yeah, credit to Cardiff Met who came out. Thought we started well, and then we got a few breakaway tries. Tom Morgan went over at the start, and then the 15 cut through the line and scored a brilliant individual try. So yeah, all to do for us second half.
Well, it all started so promisingly for you with Levi Davis opening the scoring early. Now, I don't think this is a move from the training park though, is it?
No, you wouldn't put it past Mark Lills and Luca. They've been trying everything this week, so these little trick plays and things. So to see Levi go over was great at the start.
Yeah, he definitely caught the Cardiff Met defence napping, which is no mean feat to do. They're ferocious in defence. We look at it here, runs across and Levi Davis on the switch and then charging over.
Well, Luca always poses that threat around the breakdown, around the mauls. He's a wiry one, he's quick on his feet, so if we'd have dragged the defenders across, give the ball back to Levi, it's a great finish.
But then Met responded through your old mate Tom Morgan. He's kicked 4 goals tonight out of 4, but he likes a meat pie too.
Yeah, it's a great line, that hard line, he loves running it. Defence didn't quite pick it up early enough and he crashed over. Great individual score.
Yeah, the initial bust by Alex Dombrandt, and then Morgan coming here against the grain, and it's too late to tackle him as he charges over the line there. And then Met, they're into 14 points. Another shot of Morgan's try here. Alex Dombrandt, he's been wreaking havoc, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been physical ball carrier, obviously poses that threat. He's cut through the middle a couple of times. I think we'll see a clip of his try. But yeah, no, he's posing a real threat to us at the moment.
Well, it was his bust again in the centre field here, and then up to George Simpson to burst onto the ball at pace and finish sublimely. He's sporting a fascinating one-armed thermal at the moment. I don't know if that's going to come into fashion, but yeah, have a look at this.
Yeah, you know, one-armed thermal. I think Brian Urbana sported one 2007 World Cup. Memory doesn't prove right, but yeah, it's the thermal's a bit dodgy haircuts, not too. A bit questionable as well.
But he does the business when he gets on the ball, doesn't he? And look at them, Met are whipped up with the subs and all the players charging in. They're really bringing a lot of passion.
Yeah, the players, you can tell, are bringing a lot of passion. The fans as well, they're making a lot of racket out there on the stand. So we're doing our best to try and be vocal for the boys.
And you mentioned it earlier, Alex Dombrandt charging around, really causing a lot of damage. And we all saw Cristiano Ronaldo's wonder goal last night, but this finish, I think Ronaldo sleeps in Alex Dombrandt pyjamas, mate.
Yeah, it's some finish from the big second row, and did well to get around Will P at the back there. Will's usually pretty secure, so no, once you got going, stretch his legs, and then great finish. You
did get your own back through a Jacko Davies try within all that, but then a bit of a blow right at the end of this first half from Luke Northmore.
Yeah, good finish again. Just slipped a couple of tackles, and when these guys are breaking tackles that close to the line, they're always going to finish them. So no, we need to defence second half needs to tighten up, make sure we're making our first up tackles.
Yeah, do you think that Aaron will be disappointed with the defensive display thus far?
Maybe 1 or 2 missed tackles that have led to a tries. I think in terms of our structure and our comms and D, it's been really good so far. So we've got to take confidence from that, take into the second half and just try and make those first up tackles.
We've got to mention the conditions. I can't emphasise quite how windy it is here. It's like being in the crow's nest of a ship at sea, and it's something that you're going to be playing into in the next half. Is that a worry?
Yeah, I did notice that we're going with the wind first half, but we've got to take advantage of it, and maybe obviously with the scoreline not reflecting that, we've got a lot to do in the second half, but you've got to back the brothers going into the wind, always back the brothers at home, so hope they can turn it around second half.
Some fire-inducing words for the bellies of Bath to come back against Met in this second half. But as we mentioned before, there was another semi-final today, and we got a few try-lights of Hartbury smoting Exeter and booking their place at Twickenham. So Hartbury, as we see, going down to Sandy Park, very tough place to go, and they started a lick, nudging through and really stealing a march. How important is that to get an early strike when you're playing away from home, Dougie?
Yeah, it's massively important. You see number 10 takes great advantage of the deep dead ball we've got in at Sandy Park, something we spoke about when we went down there, so really clever rugby to take use of that.
Yeah, you guys played very well at Sandy Park. In fact, you pushed Exeter all the way, and Aaron James was visibly disappointed to not win that game in the end. Will that be something that you have inside yourself that you think, do you know what, we've gone up against the best, we could have beaten them, and we can recover against the Archers today?
Yeah, I think the guys took massive confidence from although it was a defeat, it was a very narrow one, and with some of the rugby played, it was outstanding. So I think that will spur us on in the second half. Hopefully, the taste of defeat and can spur us on to victory here.
Well, we see Harbury there putting it through the hands, and they got a lot of purchase out wide, according to the reports from this game. That's something that Bath are going to want to do to get their danger men like Will Partington, like Levi Davis on the ball.
Yeah, I think you saw a couple of times towards the end of that second half, the ball just needed to go out one extra pass. If we can get the hands into Harry Close and Levi and Will P on the wings out wide, then I think we can cause Cardiff Met some real trouble in defence.
Well, we see here, I think that's Akil Smith going over for yet another try for Hartbury. It's an astonishing score, 41-15, to go there and win away. If Bath make it, what do you say about meeting Hartbury in the final?
Well, yeah, after that result as well, it's going to be a difficult game for anyone who plays Hartbury. So you've got to look at Exeter undefeated at home, I think, before that game. So for Hartbury to go down to Sandy Park and put such a scoreline on, then yeah, they've obviously hit form at the right time, so it seems.
Well, you mentioned them being undefeated at home. You're at home. This is the last opportunity for some of your leavers to leave with a win. What's Aaron saying to the troops in the sheds?
Yeah, I think you'll need to say a lot. Like you said, it'll mean a lot to these guys. Last game for a lot of key players, so I think we'll give it all this last 40 minutes at STV. So hopefully we can turn it around. A lot to do, but you got to back the brothers.
Great stuff. Thanks, Doug. It's really great having you on, okay? So, 14-28 the score lies with 40 minutes left for one of these teams to book a place at the Twickenham final. All the action's coming to you right after these adverts. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. The teams are just beginning to emerge after a terrific first half. Danny Milton's going to be asking for more of the same from his Met men, but Aaron James knows that his Bath team have got work to do if they are going to make it to the final next Wednesday to play Hartbury. Dave, you called a great first half. Kenshi, fantastic insight. I'm throwing it up to you to call this last 40.
Well, thank you, Joe. We're all set for the second half here. And Cardiff Met pretty much in control of this one, 28 points to 14. However, Ian Kench, you're not entirely sure that this one's over yet. You think if Bath take the shackles off, this could be some second 40 minutes.
Yeah, I think there's times if you look at the bigger picture in defence where Cardiff Met is clearly targeting the breakdown, going for the ball. What that does, it creates space out wide, and if Bath really want to play and they play a wide game, and they take their chances in the wide channels, they could really get back into this game. But it relies on them having the confidence to do that in these conditions.
Well, it's not just all been shunt and grunt from Cardiff Met. We've seen some fantastic finishing, 4 converted tries for their 28 points. It was a dream start for Bath when Levi Davis went over to open the scoring. And they did level things at 14-all, but 2 unanswered tries before half-time of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. Means that the hosts have some points to score, they have some work to do, and they have some wind to contend with as well. The floodlights on and dark clouds above us, but it's still dry at the moment. And it's Bath 14, Cardiff Met 28. Cardiff Met will get us underway through the fullback, George Simpson, in the second half. He's got a scintillating try to put Cardiff Met into the lead. Bath in the blue jerseys. Oh, wowee! That was nearly the dream start for Cardiff Met. When they stick, they look spectacular, but Bath escape on that occasion. They'll have the first possession of the second half. Again, the wind's swirling around and it feels as though it might be favouring Bath.
So here you can see we've got 3 in the backfield off camera, so the defensive line for Cardiff Met is actually really short. If they have the confidence to play here, they have numbers on feet and pace to burn on the left wing with Levi Davis.
Oh, that's an excellent take over on that left-hand side, but it just drifts out into touch.
Cardiff Met currently being much more clinical and sticking to their homework and going, we're going to go direct and we're going to exit from our danger zone and we'll make you play out, and Bath are going to have to do that to get back into this game.
It's quite predictable, however, it's incredibly effective.
It is, I mean, you know it's coming. Big men running at you still have to have an answer for it and you still have to stop it, and at the minute Bath don't have the answer for big men going direct at them.
And they've turned that one over as well. Cardiff Met straight back on the front foot into the 22. There goes the offload, and that is the dream start for the visitors.
That's Dan Brandt again with outstanding work, and to get on the end of that, he really is a clever rugby player as well as a fantastically big man.
Well, that's his second score of the night, his 16th of the season. But dare I say it, a little bit of finesse in that one as well. It's a desperate offload from Bath, trying to make something happen, but a lovely line from Tom Brandt.
That's the work of a winger to get on the end of those finishes, so a really strong work ethic gets him on the end and gets him his just desserts for a fantastic first half, and he continues on in the second half as he left the first.
Well, the biggest success story of BUCS Super Rugby so far has been Seb Negri into that Italian side. He actually made the Opta team of the Six Nations. Alex Dombrunt signing with Quins next year. Plenty of quality all over the pitch for Cardiff Met. And if it continues like this, they'll have the opportunity to do it again at Twickenham. A wonderful conversion as well. 5 tries, 5 conversions.
Sam, are you hearing me better up there now?
It's actually excellent work from the front rower as well.
Harry Seward there with fantastic hands and the wherewithal to see that he had his support and maybe not the legs to finish it. So really good work there from the tight head.
I think that's the difference between type 5 forwards these days. Maybe in the past they need an all-round game, they need vision.
Yeah, inside.
Certainly in generations gone by, you'd have got a front row with the ball in open play like that and they wouldn't have entirely known what to have done with it. But Harry Seward there was composed. Oh, they've thrown it away again. Bath going to pieces here.
Bath are really going to have to come up with a solution here for dealing with this direct runner, because here we go again. It's going to be coming straight at them, and how they deal with that. And I'm a little bit surprised there by the decision to kick.
Well, it was Dombrunt giving chase.
Inside.
Bath put boot to ball. That one takes an awkward bounce. Simpson doesn't quite get hold of it, but Cardiff Met back into the Bath half. 4 minutes gone of the second half of this BUCS semi-final, presented by Yoti. Simpson steps inside and puts boot to ball once again. Will Flynn finds Partington.
Again, Bath are going to have to think about something different there. If they actually looked up and looked out wide, they had 3 or 4 men on, and yes, it is in their 22, but it's time for them to think outside the box and try and get themselves back in this game, and they're going to have to play and go away from the script a little bit, which is not serving them so well at the minute.
Do you think that might be a confidence thing, the fact that they've coughed the ball up a couple of times in the second half, conceded that early try?
I think so, but when you're 35-14 down in a cup semi-final, you've got to think about how can we get back in the game. And obviously their tried and tested methods at the minute aren't working for them, so they need to have the wherewithal now to think about a plan B, and the game leaders on the pitch thinking about that and talking and communicating.
They won the penalty there. To go quickly, but Cardiff Met just managed to slow the ball down. A few boys sniffing around looking for the quick tap. Luca Petrozzi being one of them. Bath back into the Cardiff 22.
The maul so far for Bath has been a real strong point, so hopefully here they're able to get that set up again and working in field, and 2 of their tries have come straight off the back of a maul. So if they can be productive here and get their set up, it could be a danger for the Cardiff Met team.
Well, they've got plenty of firepower in the back line as well, but they've not really been able to release them, certainly since Levi Davis scored that opening try. Bath back into the 22. Slow ball, so the referee brings them back for the advantage.
Referee there doing them, pulling them all down early, and it will give them another chance here to put it 5 metres out, but with this wind there is no guarantee if Cardiff Met choose to compete in the air.
Flynn dabs for the corner. Does take them 5 metres out. This puts them in a great position as well.
Legal D, please, Red.
First job done, but in comes the counter drive from Cardiff. It starts to...
It's a good setup by Bath creeping in. And the guys at the front doing the hard work. This should be going over if he's patient.
Tom Doty with the try. He's got plenty of them this season at the back of the drive. That's his 10th of the year, and just what Bath needed. 35-19.
So here's a different tactic from Cardiff Met. They chose to compete at the front of the line-out, which sacrificed 3 men. That meant they're a little bit weak on the outside, and you can see Bath exploiting that at the front. The boys working hard, everything going out on the outside, nice and long. And actually, I think Doty should have stayed in. Bit of a rash decision to come out of it early, but to their play, he finished it, which he needed to if he's choosing to come out of the maul like that.
So often those situations about patience. You see that white line in front of you, and your eyes light up. Doty does well. Both kickers 100% off the tee so far. Partington to bring Bath back to within 2 scores. Important conversion. Goes up, as do the flags. 21-35. An important kick that, because it's the difference between 2 scores and 3 scores.
It's been a real exhibition in top-class kicking today, and you can tell the boys clearly practice. In these conditions, to be 100% off all these kicks is highly impressive.
Bath 21, Cardiff Met 35. They're going to contest for that restart again. It's gone back Cardiff Met's way, and they surge into the Bath 22.
Such a key component there, the restarts, and the Bath forwards simply have to do better in tidying that up. If you're going to go up with a lift, you've got to take it, otherwise you're out of the game, and Cardiff Met on the front foot.
Well, Bath have managed to win the penalty. Important for them as well, because to score and then to be back to within 10 metres of your line, defending once again. Approaching 10 minutes of the second half gone in this BUCS semi-final. It's now things have turned around in this season as well. Bath just 4 victories all league season. They managed to miss touch with that as well, looking to take advantage of the win, but instead Simpson gets a counter-attacking run. So dangerous are those, but he's dragged down just over the halfway line. Rubazniak just overruns that. It's been knocked on by Bath. A little bit of frustration boiling over there as well.
Make sure he's staying up as we're clearing out.
That's a couple of opportunities they've missed there. Firstly, missing touch with the kick. Secondly, missing the opportunity to turn the ball over.
Nothing more infuriating when you're a forward and your maul's on fire and your kicker decides to miss touch and cost you a line out, which could potentially lead to another penalty, putting you 5 metres out. So a really costly mistake there from Bath.
Coach!
The replacements on in the pack for Bath, Rhys Davis and Mike Snoop. With 19 and 20.
This is where they've got to look to play.
Oh, they've got 10 metres there as well. Alex Dombrunt, the man called out for the interference.
Scrum full.
Bath have gone for the scrum.
Silly.
It's a real show of faith in the pack as well. It's been so up and down in terms of the penalties given away.
As we saw in the first half, it tends to be the attacking team that are under pressure as soon as that hooker lifts his foot. The opposition is seeing that as a real area to target, and so if Bath here should be really thinking about getting that ball in and out and looking to play here.
Coach! They're not giving it! Boys! We know the move, we know the move! Set!
Look at Petrozzi with the put in, he waits for the ball. Gets it from Jack Davis. And once again, they've given the ball away. Side entry this time. They just don't seem to be able to get any momentum.
You can see, as they have been all game, Cardiff Met the effective work at the breakdown. They've got 2 men at every breakdown challenging for that ball and making it a real pig fight for the ball for the Bath Uni boys, and Bath really have to find an answer for that, and they can't just keep putting 2 men in trying to get quick ball. They've got to be more effective at sorting that breakdown out if they're going to be in this game.
Simpson finds another good touch. Takes Cardiff Met to 25 metres from the line, still leading by 2 scores with just under half an hour remaining. Danny Milton up there watching on, said the boys were a little bit less nervous this week than they were last week. So far it looks that way as well. They know the game plan, they're executing it well, and they've scored 5 tries. They're back into the 22. On the blind side, there's Aled Ward again. So busy since he came on, replacing Aled Evans.
You can see in these phases the Bath tackle height is all on the ball and above. They've got to chop their body height and they've got to arrest momentum, otherwise these big Cardiff Met forwards are going to cause inroads, and they've been lucky there with the turnover.
Luke Northmore knocked that one on. Got himself on the score sheet with a fantastic finish earlier, stepping in and reaching out that big right paw for the line.
Come on. Let's go, Dubs. Come on.
Ball's gone forward there. Cardiff Met certainly playing rugby in the right areas as far as they're concerned.
Coach! Boys! Set!
Here comes the shove from Cardiff Met again, but Bath can come away with it. Kick up over halfway. That's well taken by Simpson, and he gets to run it broken play once again. Barges his way out of the first tackle and gets the offload away up the left-hand side, back into the 22. And taken out into touch. But Cardiff Met playing the territory game once again. Simpson does so well running at broken play, seems to always beat the first tackler.
Your player has to wait.
Which begs the question, why would you kick it straight to him rather than putting it off or trying to play out? Bath really do have to think of plan B here rather than just kicking long to one of the most dangerous players on the field. They've got to think about putting it off and getting their maul going, or even trying to play their way out of the 22.
Let's go then, Blue.
You've got to think their backs on the left-hand side must be absolutely freezing, because all they're doing is standing there at the moment. Levi Davis, such a powerful ball carrier, but he's just parked out on that left wing. Came in field looking for work when he scored that opening try.
Here we can see 13 is their last man on this left-hand side for Bath, and they've got to start targeting that area, and they've got to start playing.
Better kick this time. Touch found just beyond the 10-metre line.
Blue 14, guys.
Cardiff Met
Blue 14
with 25 minutes here
14
to find 2 scores to get themselves back into this one.
14.
Their last 16 victory over Cardiff University, and their quarter-final against Northumbria. The first time they've won 2 matches in a row all season.
Wait for the play.
Charlie Dunbar wearing number 22. He's come on in the second half of Bath. Cardiff Met look to clear again. Lovely inside ball there from Dom Brandt. And he's there on the supporting line as well. Beautiful offload over the top, bumping off Craig Duncan. Dom Brandt with his hands on his hips, but manages to present himself at the right time, gets the netball pass away. It's picked up over on the far side by his second row partner Bolako. Bath chop low. Cardiff Met, the closer to the try line they get, the more energised they look. Alid Ward driven back, and a better tackle by Bath. Was Charlie Dunbar with that.
Much better work in the tackle here from Bath, really getting under the ball and chopping and stopping them at source. And again, their really good chop tackle stops them getting over the gain line.
Red rival! Ripped!
Oh, that's been ripped by Bath, much better in defence. Jack Davies, the man who did it, but again, they put boot to ball. So Simpson will have the chance to counter-attack again. Gets around Dunbar and finds the pass. Cardiff Met just coming forward in waves. Levi Davis makes the tackle just over the 10-metre line. Avi Scott with a lovely offload, sets Cardiff Met away again. But the referee just brings them back. George Simpson, absolutely furious, flings the ball over his head. But once again, Bath doing all the hard work, turning the ball over inside the 22. Let's take another look at this. Lovely handling from the forwards. So look at this was forward. Oh, it's a harsh one. It's a harsh one. So yeah, Bath doing all the hard work inside the 22, turning the ball over and then just kicking it away and inviting Cardiff Met on.
And this is where players have to be empowered to say, if I'm on the wing and I'm looking up an empty space, if I'm Levi Davis, I've got to be feeding that in and saying, look, there's space here, give me the ball, get it to me. And we're not seeing that from these guys. They're not sort of solving the issue, what they're seeing in front of them. They're not looking at the picture and saying, let's get the ball to me, let's try and play and get into this game, because then it completely changes the way Cardiff Met have to defend. Can they still put 2 men in each breakdown?
Jake Buckingham's just down getting some medical attention. It's been tough work out there defensively. For those tight forwards, they've had to make a lot of tackles. He's going to be taking a breather. 57 minutes gone of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti. Cardiff Met finished 3rd in the league. They had the joint most wins, 12 with Exeter, but missed out on bonus points, finishing 3rd behind Northumbria in 2nd, with the opportunity to rectify that at Twickenham next week if it stays like this. They've won the penalty at the scrum. I think there have been more scrums resulting in penalties and free kicks than actual scrums where the balls come out of the back. A real area of contention. George Simpson again, trusty right boot.
At some point, Will Britton, the captain there, has got to get the boys in and say, we are scrumming quick, the ball is coming in, we are getting it straight away and we're getting it out before any penalty can be given. So that's an area that they've got to fix as well, and without these fixes, they're going to struggle to get back in this game.
9.
I think it's got to the point where they've won a few penalties off it and they think that's a way of getting territory.
They've won penalties, but on Cardiff Met's ball, they haven't won many on their own ball, so it's on their own ball, it's in, out, and let's play.
Oh my God! Tackle!
Cardiff Met eventually tackled on the 22, bang under the sticks. On the left-hand side, that's been fumbled. Rare handling error for Cardiff Met. I think every time they approach that 22 now, their eyes light up. They're trying to make things happen. They want to put this one to bed. Something they've been guilty of throughout the season is not really putting teams to the sword.
They seem to be going a little bit away from what's worked for them, which is we're going to run direct at you and you've got to stop us. So it seems they're trying to force it a little bit, trying to get the offloads away. I think patience for Cardiff Met is the key here. If they just go direct, suck them in until they're a bit of space out wide and then be clinical and get a fast back against the slow forward has been the key for success for them in the first half, and they're going away from that in the second half.
Luca Petrozzi, ball in hand. Let's see if they have the sense to get it in and out quickly this time. The scrum did drop, the referee gave them a chance to get the ball out, and now they do come forward through Davis. Good shimmy and a handoff from him. Is he going to stay in play? No, he's bailed out. But that's the first time I can remember him having the ball in his hands, certainly in this half.
Yeah, much more effective there from Bath. I mean, he shouldn't be going out into touch there, but they start to look a bit more dangerous, and it's something there for Cardiff Met to think about, and it changes the way they have to defend. And much more positive there from Bath. Really good to see them moving the ball wide.
An hour gone here in Bath in this BUCS semi-final, presented by Yoti. Cardiff Met 35, Bath, the home team, 21. Cardiff Met up the blind side. There's the replacement hooker, Jack Fielding. Renowned for his pace, pops up in wide positions.
You can see Cardiff Met doing what they do really well, going direct, forcing Bath to carry, and that's another fantastic offload and carry from Don Blanc.
Oh, and out the back door, glorious stuff. That is absolutely magic from Cardiff Met. Once again, it's Don Brunt doing the hard work in the middle of the park, but regal handling. And that is the 40 up for Cardiff Met.
Don Blanc here at the heart of everything, huge carry and just soft hands for such a big man. And the offload here at the back is sensational for a front row forward. We were talking earlier about front rowers and how the game's changed. That is outstanding there for Cardiff Met.
He'll leave the field of play. If he does it again, he'll leave the field of play. Yeah.
Well, we've talked about Cardiff Met playing one-up rugby, big men going forward. You know exactly what's coming, but it's trying to stop it. But at times the finesse has been wonderful.
How long have we got left off there? 17.
Alid Ward crashing forward again.
Yeah, just send him on.
Lovely line by Don Brandt.
Just on the format, just coming through quickly.
That was a pass that just said, come and get me. And what about that? Straight out the back door from Tom Morgan. Ben Williams, the scrum half, in a great position. And that's the 40 up. And surely now that is curtains for Bath.
These big ball carriers getting over the gain line now, freeing the hands, and the gamble lines that they're running to free that once they've got their hands free for the offloads is sensational. The work ethic from the forwards and the backs linking in there from second row to centre is sensational, and it's going to be a long 20 minutes for Bath if they don't come up with the answer defensively on these tackles.
coming towards you, Brad.
And as we wait for the conversion, we've got Joe Burns. Joe, you were with the chairman of Bath earlier. They had a lot of confidence going into this one. However, this has been a tough evening for them. One match too far.
Yeah, full of confidence at the start of the game. They started so brightly, but the brand of rugby that Cardiff Met have played throughout this game, you talk about the big men doing the damage. I mean, Alex Dombrand, let's be fair, he's been unplayable, but the offloading and the ambition to use those deft hands has been remarkable. Such exciting rugby to watch.
You've followed this league pretty much from the start of the season. You've not missed a week. Cardiff Met have been there or thereabouts the whole time, but Hartbury earlier destroying Exeter. I know that's a tough one for you to swallow, but it's looking like we're going to have an absolute thriller at Twickenham next week.
Yeah, obviously sad to see my alma mater go out, but Hartbury, I think, you know, there's not a massive shock that they went down there and won. They've only lost once in 2018. They've had a lot of consistency in their team since the turn of the year that they maybe didn't have at the beginning of the season. I mean, I'm shocked at the score they put on Exeter, but then versus Cardiff Met's going to be a hell of a final. And how can you pick a winner?
Oh well, I tell you what, if you're watching at home, make sure you put that in your diary. We'll be bringing you the final from Twickenham live next week on Free Sporters. We're having a stretcher brought on, unfortunately, for a Cardiff Met player. Hopefully that's precautionary and he'll be back on his feet ahead of the final at Twickenham next week. It's interesting, Burnsy, we've been speaking about how tight this league is pretty much every week. The games where we've been thrown under the bus, where we've had to pick a man of the match 2 minutes before the match finishes, and then all of a sudden everything changes. We've picked a man of the match from, say, Cardiff Met, then Bath come along and win. But we've had two teams in the semi-finals who've absolutely lit the touch paper. Cardiff Met here have been absolutely sensational.
Yeah, I think you can say beyond doubt that Cardiff Met are marching on to the final. And with regards to man of the match, I mean, I could watch George Simpson play all week. He started the season at 10, and then the young fresher Harry Johnston came in, displaced him. They shifted him to fullback, and you'd never know that wasn't his number one position. His composure and decision making is unbelievable. If you kick long to them, they've got so much threat from the back, and if the chase isn't good, then you're brutally punished. But I mean, this is a real sad sight to see. Tom Morgan has been a linchpin of this side throughout the season. Obviously, he scored a mountain of points earlier in the season when Aled Evans was injured. He took on the captaincy, flourished in the role, and to see him pick up such a nasty injury after playing so well with the final just round the corner, I mean, it's devastating to see for him.
Well, he's the top scorer in the competition this year. He's up over 180 points. We're going to have another look at the try. This is actually where Morgan picked up the entry. It was a gorgeous offload out the back door to send Ben Williams over. Look at this line from Dombrand, though, comes crashing through.
Yeah, a bit disjointed from the Bath defence there, though. They fly up and create that little dog leg, and Alex Dombrand has been running that angle hard and fast and straight all night. You give him a sniff, you're clawing onto him with maybe two tacklers. But the thing, I know it's a massive cliche to say, great touch for a big lad, but you look at Alex Dombrand, you think he's a bruiser. But the guy's handling is unbelievable. You saw on his finish in the first half, two hands on the ball, weaving left and right, and it's impossible to pick where he's going to go or where he's going to give the ball.
Well, they didn't want to tackle him, and to be honest, I don't blame them. It was actually in the process of that offload that Tom Morgan went down. You could see a real look of anguish on his face.
Well, yeah, I mean, they got the oxygen out right, and they've also, well, it looked like a nasty one to, who was it? Was it Harvey Scott? Just from the kickoff there as well. So a couple of key players, but Met have got a bit of strength and depth though. I mean, Corey Wayne they've got on the bench. He's been a bit of a mainstay for the season. So you think they're going to move Max Llewellyn into the centre, him onto the wing, and then with Harvey Scott going down, he's come from being, you know, fourth choice back row, won his way into the side, but they've got the Wales under 20 captain Aled Ward on the bench. You got man of the match at Loughborough away. So,
well, of course they lost Aled Evans towards the end of the first half, and Aled Ward came on, and he's been an absolute back row dynamo since then. A lot of strength and depth in this side.
Yeah, they're a pretty decent unit. I know they invest a lot of time into their lower teams, their second, their third team. They've got a good freshers program, led by Di Morgan, who they brought over from Florida. He's a bit of a character. So,
to say the least.
Yeah, the future looks bright for them.
And to bring you back into the conversation here, Ian Kench, Cardiff Met have been part of a senior rugby programme that we've spoken about a little bit earlier. You were kind of a part of the revolution at Loughborough that backed BUCS, or Booster as it was then, sorry to show your age, success alongside a programme that brought Loughborough into the National League. Do you think a side like Bath and some of the teams that are in this division who aren't having the opportunity to play senior rugby on a Saturday, when it comes to a match like this, a cup semi-final where it comes into a bit of a physical dogfight, do you feel as though moving forward these players could benefit from experiences like that?
Yeah, I think if you look at the way Cardiff Met have played today, their physicality and the way they handle the contact, it enables them to do the play the way they are, which is free in their hands, their soft hands. To really show my age, when I first went to Loughborough, we were in Midlands 2 East, and we used to get put on the under-8s pitch that the teams had all trained on and been watered. And for the backs, it was a nightmare. They didn't really touch the ball, but as a tight 5 forward, it's the breeding ground. It stands you in such good stead playing against these really experienced players, and I think that's been one of the major differences today for Cardiff Met, is that they have that tight 5 that can be physical, that can handle the contact, and as a result they can still play this really attractive brand of rugby free in their hands and getting over the gain line.
Well, of course, Hartbury have been the real success story in terms of National League rugby. They've had a lot of success at university level, but to put together a group of players that went undefeated in National 1 and then held their own in the Championship, that's quite remarkable, really.
Yeah, having played against Hartbury for quite a few years, the style of rugby they play, the standard, their just whole rugby programme down there is exceptional, and the players they produce and that go on to play for Gloucester and other clubs is a real testament to what it can do to a university programme if they enter the men's leagues. And I think it's something that all rugby programmes at university level should definitely think about with player development in mind.
Well, we've got about 20 minutes of this one remaining. There's an injury to Tom Morgan, which is a huge shame, really, not just for his performance this evening with Twickenham around the corner, having accumulated 180 points as top scorer in the league this season, and delivering a beautiful backdoor offload to Sam Ben Williams over for the try that takes Cardiff Met up to 40 points. Doesn't look like it's going to be a particularly savoury end for him.
What'll be really interesting is how both teams react after this long break. Can Bath get the momentum back their way and get the next score, which then makes it an interesting last 20 minutes for them if they can get the next score. So both teams have been away doing their warming up, looking after trying to make sure they're staying warm and mentally switched on. Which team starts best after this break is going to be a huge 5 minutes.
There's still plenty of time left in this one. Harry Johnston's taking over kicking duty as Tom Morgan leaves on a stretcher. First pot at goal then. Both teams have been 100% from the tee, and that continues. Harry Johnston makes it 1 from 1 for him. It's 6 tries, all converted for Cardiff Met, and they lead Bath 42-21. Let's have another look at that. Forgetting what's just happened to Morgan there. That's a lovely little bit of vision. Great support line from Williams as well. Just under 20 minutes remaining of this BUCS Super Rugby semi-final, brought to you by Yoti. Cardiff Met, as it stands, marching to Twickenham. We're yet to have injury updates, but it looks as though they'll be without their captain, Aled Evans, and their top scorer, Tom Morgan, for that showdown with Hartbury a week today at the home of England Rugby. There's Tom Doty. Top try scorer for Bath, he's got over the line today. It looks like it's going to be in a losing cause. Surely now Bath need to just take off the shackles and play their rugby.
Here we can see Bath trying to play, getting the ball wide, and they're looking much more threatening. They've just got to be clinical in these wide channels, and Cardiff Met are there to be got at.
Well, that's gone forward off the hand of Dombrandt, but the referee seems to be happy to let play continue.
No, don't go round, don't go round.
Great pick up there.
It wasn't the best of passes from Tom.
If they can execute in these wide channels with a 5-on-1, the ball had to go there. They've got to take those chances in the wide channels.
Well, the temperature's really dropped under the floodlights here. Arthur Caldwell wearing 17s come on as a front row replacement for Bath. After that long layoff, there goes Luca Petrozzi trying to take them back to the 22. Visits to their opponent's red zone have been at a real rarity in the second half, and they've knocked the ball on there as well.
You have to say that the pressure that Cardiff Met have put on the breakdown today has really reaped rewards for them. Every single time that Bath take the ball in, there are two Cardiff Met men there challenging for the ball, slowing it down, and forcing errors like that from the Bath team.
And after that long injury layoff, looks like we have a Bath player down. He's in some considerable discomfort as well. A tough old night there for these players, particularly defending against a Cardiff Met side. As you've said quite a few times this evening, you know what's happening. You know there's a big man coming running towards you. No matter how well you're tackling, that takes its toll on you physically.
It does, and you can see that the body's starting to break down here. Just out of interest, it'd be quite interesting here. This is where I would like to see the Bath players getting round and saying, right, well, how are we going to get back into this game? How are we going to fix some of these issues? And you don't really see that from them, and it's a bit of a shame because it is there for them. They just need to play and really get that quick ball and get the ball into wide channels and be clinical there, and they would be, I do sound like a broken record, but they would be so much more effective if they just played and backed themselves.
It's pretty windy, but it is dry. The ball is there to be played. If you're joining us late, then Bath did take the lead in the first half. Levi Davis got the opening score, then Morgan went over to level things before Simpson burnt in from outside the 22 to put Cardiff Met 14-7 ahead. Davis's try converted by Partington levelled us up at 14 apiece, and then Cardiff pulled away 2 unanswered tries before half-time. Meant we were 28-14 at the break. 1 converted score for Bath and 2 for Cardiff Met in the second half bring us to where we are now, 42-21. That is a monstrous boot, but it's going to get a bounce and it'll go dead as well. What a mistake from Cardiff Met, some territory for Bath.
Looked to be a really unfortunate bounce there, and it's something that Cardiff Met have done really well today, and just saying we're not going to play in our bottom third, and you can play out. And it's just a bounce to the ball, as we know, is taking them all the way back, and this is a huge moment here for Bath to be able to try and get some pressure and quick ball at the breakdown to play.
Scrum on the 22. Just over 15 minutes of this BUCS semi-final presented by Yoti remaining. Bath need 3 converted scores. You feel as though if they're going to get anything, then something needs to happen with these phases of play.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Cardiff Met supporters finding their voice on the far side. No one on the blind side for Bath. Oh, it's a big shot inside the 22. And they do go wide. Partington. It's an excellent defensive lift from Cardiff Met. Bath really struggling to get over the gain line.
Again, the Cardiff Met boys at the breakdown turning it over. 2 or 3 boys there, straight on the ball, making life difficult for Bath, and they've just been exceptional at the breakdown today. Absolutely outstanding from 1 to 15. They all aren't afraid to put their heads in that breakdown and do the hard yards for the turnover.
And out goes the kick, and once again Cardiff relieve the pressure, and they're back in their opponent's half. And that turnover came out of nowhere, really. There were Bath bodies there. It was great work from Cardiff Met, but that's particularly disappointing from a Bath perspective.
It is, but Cardiff Met they've come here with a game plan, which is we're going to target the breakdown. That's clearly where they've done their analysis and their research, and said it's worth us making sure we put 2 or 3 bodies in there, and they, like I say, have just been so effective, and I suppose the word is clinical there with the turnover and then the exit. They've just been really professional today in the way they've approached this game.
Hold then, hold.
Tom Doty finds his man. Davis goes infield looking for work this time. Trying to spread it, but Cardiff Met lifting well in defence.
Yeah, and a fantastic turnover there from Cardiff Met. They just are so clinical at the breakdown, and Bath just haven't got an answer for what they're doing.
It'll be interesting to see if they try the same game plan against a side like Hartbury next week, who are used to playing in the Championship, used to playing physical rugby.
I think where they've been really clever as well is working out the ref. So Neil Chivers today, he allows a good contest at the breakdown. That's something that potentially they've done a bit of research on. And if a referee allows you to have that contest and you are effective, you get square, you get low, they've managed to just be so effective and put in numbers into this breakdown. And you've seen the number of turnovers they've got has just really, really killed the Bath attack today.
11. Scrum over there. Scrum on the 5 yards, coming out of the way.
The conditions for this one very different to the match that Neil Chivers refereed on Friday.
Yeah, a little bit different.
So it's Old Altamians against Hamptill.
No need for the mask and snorkel and flippers today.
No, 9 tries today. I don't think it would have been physically possible to score 9 tries on Friday. National League matches in England very much weather affected this weekend. Again, they've had plenty of weather down here. This show exactly how well the ground staff have done to keep this pitch in exceptional condition. It's been firm and fast, and we've seen some great running rugby as a result.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Bath looking to throw it now. Here's Levi Davis going straight through the first man.
Such a threat there on the left wing, and just hasn't seen enough of the ball today, but when he has got it, he's been a real threat for the Bath side.
Craig Duncan there. I don't think any of the backs have seen as much ball as they'd have liked to for Bath. Jack Davies. Charlie Dunbar trying to show some fancy footwork, but not really going anywhere. Petrozzi thought about going down the blind side before finding Arthur Caldwell. With Alex Burridge, he's the replacement outside half for Bath. They've really shuffled the pack, and they've gone from left to right there. I mean, any meters whatsoever. Oh, wowee, another huge tackle coming out of the line and sending Craig Duncan backwards. Lost 15 metres on that phase, Bath. Back up to the 10-metre line. Approaching the last 10 minutes. They still need 3 scores. Looking like a real mountain to climb here for Bath. Again, it's been turned over. The referee put his arm out for advantage, but George Simpson puts the flat pass in. Oh, another lovely offload from Cardiff Met. They've lost the ball that time, but when they do free the hands, so difficult to defend.
really pleasing to see both sides trying to play here and let the shackles off and really move the ball around, and it just shows how good this league is and how skillful some of these players really are.
Ball up for Davis to chase, it hangs in the wind. Unable to control it though, and it's back with Cardiff Met. Well, so many strong performances from Cardiff Met, Ian Kench. I'm giving you your 5-minute warning before you've got to pick the man of the match here. Northmore slips into the challenge. Oh, lovely footwork there from Corey Wayne. The referee takes them back for the high tackle. Corey Wayne's got a couple of tries this season, started a lot of matches as well. Max Llewellyn was preferred to him this match, should I say.
Just over 7. Shot cord. Base cord.
And just to put this one out of sight, to break the 3 scores barrier, Cardiff Met are going to go for the sticks. George Simpson is going to be the 3rd place kicker of the match. Of course, Tom Morgan got them off to a great start. He was 100% from the tee. Harry Johnston converted the 6th try. And George Simpson
just over 7.
Well, after I said 5 minutes, but I'm going to cut it short, Ian Kench, while this penalty goes up. This Simpson converts with aplomb to take Cardiff Met up to 45 points. I'm going to ask you for your man of the match.
I think the Cardiff Met boys in the whole as a team have been fantastic. I mean, George Simpson at the back has been a real threat whenever he's got the ball. The hang time from Jordan Roberts on the kick chases on the right wing have been outstanding, but it's a fairly obvious candidate. I've banged on about him all day long, and it's Alex Dombrandt is today's man of the match. He has been absolutely sensational. Not just his size, his sort of intelligence and the way he finds himself supporting, and his work ethic is just sensational. And those hands, the offload, they're just not conventional there. It's a basketball style offload most of the time. He really has been absolutely fantastic today, and he's a thoroughly deserved man of the match for the Cardiff Met team.
Well, he scored tries, he's made tackles, and from this match alone, his highlights reel would be pretty spectacular.
It would, and you can see where the interest from Quins has come for him, so he's definitely one to watch for the future.
Well, hopefully we'll get the opportunity to hear from him post-match with Joe Burns. And of course, we'll get to see him play once again at Twickenham next week, where he pits his skill set against Hartbury. Confirmation there that the Yoti player of the match is Alex Dombrandt. Another dominant performance from him.
He's in the middle, that's fine.
And Cardiff Met not done yet. Levi Davis making a big tackle, is just out of shot. Jordan Roberts is getting some medical attention. Again, Bath, they're just so keen to put boot to ball. Will Partington just not been confident with his counter running. And speaking of confidence, it is absolutely flowing through Cardiff Met.
Their physical dominance at the contact is just allowing them to free their arms every time, and they know that, and therefore all the runners off them are gambling. They're expecting the offload, and we're seeing them stick in some of the rugby and the offloads, and the tries today have just been fantastic from Cardiff Met.
Well, they've not made 50 points this season. Bath have got there twice, including against Cardiff University in the last 16, but another score here would take Cardiff Met to the half century for the first time this season. Thrown a loose pass there, but how often do we see a bouncing ball causing absolute carnage? Got Matt Marsh on as replacement scrum half. We're in number 21. And they're back into the 22. Still a few minutes left in this one. Remember, our clock continues ticking. It's an unofficial one, but it gives us a pretty good idea of where we are in the match. Again, it's physical short ball stuff from Cardiff Met. And look how wide Bath are defending, given how narrow Cardiff are in attack. Just a few metres short now. Barging forward again, looking for the inside ball. It's a beautiful line.
That is sensational, absolutely sensational there from Cardiff Met. And it does beg the question why Bath are defending with such width when they've got to deal with that threat in and around 9-10 channel, because they just haven't dealt with it today. They've gone far too high, and as a result, we can see Cardiff Met just getting game line, which allows them to play that channel between 9 and 10.
Well, it looked as though it had slowed down, but look at this line. Hits it so quickly, checks inside. That's Max Llewellyn, gets his first try of the match. He's probably more comfortable in the centres than he is on the wing. But that is a wonderful finish from him, and the 50 is up. 7 tries for Cardiff Met. We've had 2 incredibly dominant semi-final performances. Hartpury putting Exeter to the sword, and Cardiff Met, for the first time, really disappearing out of sight against decent opposition in Bath. They said at the beginning of the season the semi-finals were their target. So it's mission accomplished, but even coming up against a team as rampant as this, they'll be disappointed.
They will. I think when they watch it back, they'll think what could have been if they just maybe backed themselves a little bit more and played. But the better team today definitely is one, and it does make you ridiculously excited for next week. And the show-off between Hartpury and Cardiff Met, I think, is going to be an absolute titanic clash.
Let's have another look at this again, just on the inside line there.
Match going to be on then, good.
Always worth taking a punt on that inside line. He's hit it so hard, taking the defender over the line with him. 7 tries, all converted, and the penalty. And they're not done yet either. Once again, going out of the back door, over the 10-metre line. Desperate defence from Bath, all credit to them. They're still chasing back, even though this one is disappearing out of sight. Aled Ward again. This time I sound like a broken record, but he's brought so much energy since he came on in the first half for Aled Davis. Very able deputy at number 8 if Davis is injured. I'm sure he'll love the opportunity to do it from the first whistle at Twickenham. Well, the wind absolutely howling now, and my commentary notes have just gone blowing onto the athletics track between our commentary position and the pitch. Glad that's happened on 78 minutes and not 2. Cardiff under the sticks, back in the 22. And that one's been knocked on. Oh, but it was for the penalty, just as there was a glimmer of hope there for Bath. Will Hughes thought he'd intercepted the ball and could go the full length. There's another penalty. Cardiff Met going to go for the sticks here.
I think that's the last play here. This will be the potentially the last kick of the game, and a good way to seal the game. It's been a fantastic performance from Cardiff Met today. Really clinical, really professional in their outlook.
Once again, it's dead.
Clearly done their research, and they have really put Bath to the sword.
Full time. We've known the outcome of this for quite some time, but the celebrations of Cardiff Met, the players, the bench, the coaches and the supporters tell you all you need to know and everything it means to them. They are going to Twickenham. And Ian Kench, that was as dominant a performance as you can expect to see at a semi-final at any level.
Yeah, I'll reiterate the point. Cardiff Met just have been so clinical in their performance today. They've clearly spent a lot of time researching Bath, and I think the fact that they've played them, this is the 3rd time this year, that's really helped them in what they're going to face today, and they've just really done a job on Bath. From the defensive aspect to the way they've attacked, they have been so clinical, and it's just been a fantastic performance from them today, and it's going to be a really big game next week against Hartpury. It's something that is definitely not one to miss.
Full-time Bath 21, Cardiff Met 55, 10 tries in a semi-final. Huge credit to Bath. It was a great start from them, but as the game wore on, the physicality for Cardiff Met just shone through, and they put up the half century here, and they will be buoyed with confidence, as will Hartpury, going into the Twickenham final next week. It's now time to hear from Joe Burns. He's with the man of the match.
The crushing performance from Cardiff Met to book their place in the final. We've been robbed a little bit of our post-match debrief because of the unfortunate injury to Tom Morgan, but if you've never seen a human wrecking ball with hands as soft as clouds, well, you have tonight, because Alex Dombrandt, what a performance.
I know, over the moon. Couldn't be prouder of the boys, you know. Really dug in and put an exceptional performance in.
Mate, could you guys have played any better tonight?
You know, we knew it was going to be tough coming down here. Bath, a very good side, but couldn't have asked for more. The boys were outstanding tonight and fully deserved the win.
And for you personally, a virtuoso performance. You're living every last breath of your days in the Met jersey.
Yeah, definitely, you know. I've got things to look forward to, but for now I'm very set on getting a BUCS trophy with the Cardiff Met boys for sure.
I know, so how pumped are you to be going to Twickenham?
You know, definitely, we know it's going to be a tough test against a good Hartpury side, but we're full of confidence and we're going to give it our best shot.
I mean, could you have envisaged playing, I mean, that brand of rugby? I mean, you guys ran hard, you had the forward power, but the handling was insane.
You know, that's the type of brand, you know, rugby we want to play, and towards the end we could have easily set up shop, but that's not what we are about. We're all about chucking the ball around and having a bit of fun with our mates.
And fun you had, and it was plain to see for everyone watching at home. So, without further ado, Alex, it's time to be the Yoti man of the match.
Thank you very much.
For you to enjoy on the bus journey home. I'll let you get back with the lads.
Thank you.
Congratulations, fantastic win. There we go. Our final is now booked. Hartpury will play Cardiff Met. Bath's title tilt has been extinguished by the Archers, whose aim remains straight and true, looking for a BUCS bullseye. You can catch us at Twickenham for the final next Wednesday for the women and the men. But until then, thanks for joining us this evening, and good night.